G'day, Groovers. We are live from the Dodgers Ferry Primary School, where I have just voted, as it is election day here today in Tasmania, a state government election. And in what has become a tradition in Australia in the last decade or so is after voting, everyone grabs either a sausage or a hamburger from stalls out the front. At this polling booth out the front, we've got the Dodgers Ferry Primary School Association. So I have just grabbed for myself a democracy sausage. Oh, it's going to be hard. That's the downside of moving my phone down. But if you can see it, it's a sausage in bread with tomato sauce, or as Americans would say, ketchup, and some mustard. Oh, there's already people in here. Hi, Kimberly. G'day, Cody. How you doing, Groover? I like that you call me Tors. All my mates call me Tors. Good evening from Oklahoma. Hello, Crystal. So I've just voted in our election. Sorry, didn't think this through. I'm eating the sausage before we hit the road. We're going to go and get some donuts from Dunalley. Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Yum. This is probably really bad viewing at the moment. We've got some action happening over there at the marquee where all the sausages and burgers. They've got sausages, hamburgers with the lot, egg and bacon rolls, veggie burgers, soft drink, and jukebox, which is like juice box. Mm. And a very picturesque gum tree. It is gorgeous. I love gum trees. I love their bark. I rather cheekily put my name as Tory. I voted because in the US elections, you see a lot of people on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, putting up stickers that they got that says I voted, because in Australia it's compulsory voting. So we don't get a little sticker saying I voted. We get a democracy sausage. And it's a ripper. Hey, gone girl. Good to see you, gorgeous. See, on the upside of eating my democracy sausage is it's giving time for people to wander in or wander out. Uh-oh. Here comes Melinda. I'm so sorry I'm live on YouTube. Hi. Good. I'm live on YouTube. You've just featured in my YouTube live. Good sausages. Mm. I'll have a coffee soon. Yeah, I will. I've just started a new job, which is really good, but it's pretty full on. But I'm almost settled into it now. So, yeah, I'll give you a bell. Okay. Yeah. Otherwise, I'll see you at the gym. Yeah, I'd rather have food too. I mean, you do pay for it. So, and it's worth it. $2.50. This time of day is good for you, Mares. Okay. Noted. Beautiful. So we're leaving the Dodgers Ferry Primary School where I've just cast my vote. And we're just going to go for a little drive down to Dunalley. It will take us just briefly down to beach. I was letting them out and they didn't go. Oh no, maybe we're going to see a lot of water. Let's just go straight to Dunalley. So we're going to go for a drive. Now I know that it's Friday night in America and there's probably a lot of channels that are all live, having a good bitch about each other, and that's perfectly fine if that's where you want to go. I'm just offering an alternative if you do not care about the drama or you just want to break from it, or if you've never been into it. You don't have anything like that? Wow, we have the democracy sausages, but also the CWA, the Country Women's Association. They often have a stall as well with cakes and scones and biscuits and, cakes and scones and cookies, baked goods basically. But because of COVID, they're not actually, I don't think, allowed to do it now. They have to get full-on permits, and I think they have to make things on site. And so no democracy apple crumble today. God, the traffic's crazy. Don't forget to yell at me, guys, too, if you're riding caps, so I can have a glance from time to time at chat, see what's going down. Hey, look at the beautiful day. It's 24 degrees Celsius, not Fahrenheit, Celsius today. It's really lovely. So once I've done my little drive live with you, Grievers, to Dunalley, I am going to the beach. I'm going to have a swim in bathers, no wetsuit. Yep. Into the ocean I'm going. It's gorgeous. It's like a summer's day today. This autumn's just been summer, apart from like a couple of days of wintry weather. Like it's either been sort of way warmer than it usually is at this time of the year, like 24 today, or it's been really, really cold, like snow cold. Not at sea level, but so yes, I started a thing today that my sister gifted me, which was really beautiful of her to do it because I'm already feeling great. And she's doing it as well. There's a thing in Australia called Mindful in May. It's also known as MIM. If you're a friend of mine on social media, you are going to get bombarded with stuff from me throughout the month of May. But it's sort of like how am I going to stop this phone from bouncing so much? Hang on, I'll just pull up and see if I can stabilize it a bit because I tightened all of the little screwy things on the bracket, but it's still wobbling. So yeah, Ange signed me up. Let me see if I can fix this. It's not an overly. Hey Twiggy, how are you? Oh my god, how nice to see you. I know, 5 months into 2021 already. It's crazy, isn't it? We're going to Dunalley, Twiggy, to get some donuts. Now, apparently they are the best donuts in the world, according to the girl who makes them. But she did move here from Melbourne many, many years ago, like over 20 years ago, and tourists from Victoria and Melbourne in particular who are familiar with the Victoria markets often say to her, oh my God, these are like the ones at the Victoria markets, but better. And she sort of modelled her donuts on them, but improved them. Did you get a democracy sausage, Twiggy? I just devoured mine. I didn't want to swap out the photo of the donuts as my thumbnail, but I did just Instagram my democracy sausage. Oh, it was so good. The first 5 minutes of my live, everyone just had to listen to me eating it. But I was just learning that US polling booths don't have any kind of foodie things out the front. It's such a tradition. But look at this weather too, Twiggy. I love Vic Market too. My ex and I used to go to Melbourne a lot. He was from Melbourne originally, and at that point, his son and daughter were both, one of his sons and his daughter were both living in Melbourne, and we also both had a lot of mutual friends there and friends of our own. So we used to go to Melbourne a lot, and we used to always stay at the Jasper Hotel, which used to be the YMCA. Sorry, I just did a democracy sausage tiny little burpee thing. But it used to be the YMCA, and then they converted it into a hotel called the Jasper, and it's right next to Vic Markets. We spent a lot of time there. But I don't believe I ever got a jam donut from there, so I have nothing to compare Fiona's donuts to. It sounds like you get them in a bag of 6 as well, so good thing I'm catching up with some people over the weekend. They can help me eat them. Otherwise, I'll eat the whole bag myself, and that's not good. Mind you, there was a polling booth just there. I could have gone there, although I would have been sad if I went there. That was to the Salvation Army Hall. I probably would have got a bit sad. Oh, you didn't get a sausage? Shit, what's going on with my phone? The screen's going wrong. I'm hoping it doesn't overheat because it's quite warm today. I've just opened the window to try and cool my car down a bit. But I was at the Dodgers Ferry Primary School, which isn't very big either, and we had democracy sausages and democracy hamburgers. I had a sausage, it was delightful. I'm at the top of the Tasman Peninsula, Kimberley, so it probably takes me maybe 40 minutes to get to Port Arthur. The last time I went down there, see, I'm going the back way, which does make it a little bit longer, but it's really pretty. And because I'm just doing a bit of a drive for the YouTube world, I wanted to go the scenic way, but I think it's about 40 minutes for me. It may be more, it might be closer to an hour, but yeah, maybe more like an hour. I honestly can't recall. But it is where I am. We're sort of at the start of the Tasman Peninsula. In a way. I mean, you've got to drive down to get to the proper part of it, but it's sort of, we're on our way to it, if that makes sense. Like if you look at a map of Tassie, and I'm talking an actual map, not a lady's pubic hair region, and you look at Port Arthur, like you sort of drive north out of Hobart and then head east and then head south, and I'm at the top of the bit where you start heading south that heads down to Port Arthur. We're going to go down there soon because I'm enjoying doing some little drives around the state showing Tassie off, but also Port Arthur, despite its incredibly bleak and tragic history, is very pretty, and my favourite time to be in Port Arthur is in autumn. We just had the anniversary of Port Arthur, the massacre in April, and when it happened, they did like a fundraiser, and they sold stickers. Just fixing that. They sold stickers to raise money, and the stickers were of autumn leaves, and they were beautiful. Um, so the autumn leaf sort of became a bit of a symbol for Port Arthur, or for the massacre. But weirdly, autumn hasn't really arrived in Tassie yet because we've had such warm weather. Some trees, oh shoot, oh, a little possum on the road, breaks my heart. Um, Dead possum. I see them on the road, wildlife. And unfortunately, you are safer to drive over wildlife when it's on the road than try and avoid it. A really good friend of mine at school was killed when she swerved to not hit a wombat and she slammed into a tree, and that was the end of her, which was horrible. So, yeah, it's kind of depressing. I don't want to be depressing. Let's talk about donuts. Um, but yeah, so I'm going to take us all to Port. It's such a well known for all the wrong reasons part of Tasmania. Another possum. Don't look at the possums on the road, people. Um, it's known the world over for all the wrong reasons. It did bring about very strict gun control in Australia. Any shootings, especially mass shootings in Australia. Like, I think I was reading an article about the anniversary of Port Arthur, and I think they were saying there's only been one domestic, and it was a domestic one where somebody took out, enough people to call it a mass shooting. I think it's 6 people. I don't know, but let's change the subject. But no, I will take us to Port Arthur. It's beautiful, but so is the scenery now. So let's enjoy that. Um, but we'll go for the drive down there, and then we'll actually go live from Port Arthur. I have done a live in Port Arthur before. I've taken us there before. Um, I've got to check my settings though, because I remember I did the live, but I didn't realise it was on private. I don't know why it was on private, but anyway, I might have to go back through my stuff and see if I can find it. But we'll be going there again anyway. It's very pretty, despite all the horrors that occurred there. Not just the massacre, but also when the convicts were there. It was a pretty bleak place when it happened. And unfortunately, my dad knew a lot of people who were killed on the day, and he was also on the phone lines taking calls from family members to get updates on. Although Dad didn't believe in stress and PTSD, I'm pretty sure he had it from it. You'd have to just fielding calls day in, day out, for a long time. And often the news that he had to pass on wasn't great. So I remember him saying that the worst bit was when it first started, just because of all the updates they were getting on casualties. It started off, I think they thought that only 2 people had been shot. So, yeah, he said that was really horrible. But, yeah, overtake me, dude, because I'm live on YouTube and taking my time. But, yeah, having to tell family members, they didn't actually have to say your family members died. They had to refer them to a police officer to do that. But he said it was pretty obvious just from what they had to say. They were given a script that the family members knew that bad news was coming. It's horrible. You guys have to check out We Suddenly Get Treated to this magnificent view. I mean, seriously, guys, I wish the panoramic camera on my phone is fabulous in that you get to see panoramas, but sadly you don't get to realise how close things are. The view for you is, my phone's going to overheat. Oh my God, no. I am so over this phone. I'm going to keep talking till it goes completely black. I can see that it is going to, wow. All I wanted to do was take you guys for a drive and some donuts and give you something else to look at other than going into drama channels. Bugger, guys. Bugger, bugger, bugger. I'm just going to have to crank my air conditioning and open all my windows and hope that it cools it down. I don't know if you can even hear me anymore, but I think this phone is actually going to bring about a sad end to my drives. It just keeps overheating. I could have pulled over there. I might pull over and give it a bit of a blast under the aircon. That's not very level. Hopefully get you guys back, and I might take the cover off the phone as well and see if that fixes this problem. You just keep each other company for the moment, groovers. I know how to fix it. I just have to find somewhere to pull over. And I don't want to pull over in somebody's driveway because that's just rude. And knowing my luck, somebody will try to drive out. Oh, I'm starting to get the screen back. Oh, you guys are still able to see it, even though it was almost jet black, the screen for me. It's returning. But it's also like a freezer in my car now because I had to put the aircon on full bore to get it back. I've got it on the direction is for the windscreen. And I want to put the window up so that it's not so noisy, but if I do that, overheat again. Oh my God, it's challenging. But yeah, look at the beautiful scenery, guys. It's huge body of water. Gorgeous countryside. You miss country roads, Kimberley? Move here. We everywhere we go is like this. Not even, but anywhere out of Hobart is like this for the most part. So yes, we will go to Port Arthur. The drive down there is beautiful. I actually think when I go, I'm going to stay overnight because there's a lot of things on the Tasman Peninsula that I'd love to show you as well, like Tasman Arch and tessellated pavement, and there's a massive blowhole, Devil's Kitchen, and then there's obviously Port Arthur, but there's also another former convict settlement called Lime Bay, and Lime Bay is absolutely beautiful as well, and I'd love to take you guys there too. But I just can't believe how gorgeous the day is. Hey, Crystal, that sounds perfect. Chamomile tea and some stunning views. Why not? Why not? So this morning I started this Mindful in May thing that my sister signed me up for and paid for. It was a very generous gift from her. And one of the commitments is to do 10 minutes of meditation every day. And I've dabbled in and out of meditation, and I've learned that you don't have to have a completely still mind and all of that stuff. I don't know what it was, but this meditation this morning was for 10 minutes and I feel amazing. I feel amazing. And then each day, hey, Ruth, you need steak? We're getting donuts, kiddo. So for all of May, you get an email every day and a meditation to do, and they have different meditation gurus. But today there was also an hour-long interview with a guy whose name, I wish I'd brought my notebook with me. He's a former Buddhist. Oh, I think he is still a Buddhist monk, actually. He's written a few books. I think one of them is called In Love with Life. But he was so interesting, and he was talking about how as a very young child he suffered what he calls panic, which is basically anxiety. And I started listening to it, but what I'm going to do when I get home, when I go to the beach, I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to walk the length of the beach, have a swim, and then head home and get ready to go into town, because I'm going into town tonight to see a friend in his band. We're almost at Dunalley, the home of the best donuts, at least in Tasmania, according to Fiona, the owner. I did get her permission to film, but I promised her I wouldn't get her on the camera. She's like, nobody needs to see my grumpy old face. So I'm going to have to do a bit of selective editing. And I couldn't find the little stand for my tripod so I could put it on. There's a little table next to her food van. I couldn't find the stand, so I'm not quite sure how I'm going to balance the phone and eat the donuts, but we'll work it out. So pretty in here, look. It's low tide at the moment. There's a few boats out there. I'll see if I can find somewhere to pull over to share the view with you guys. So Dunalley got onto the national map a couple of years ago because we had very, very massive and terrifying bushfires. They were firestorms, and they went through this little town we're about to drive through. Unbelievably, nobody died, but heaps of properties were destroyed. But it was a really, fully scary firestorm in that it bounced, and so some houses got completely obliterated and others didn't. Yeah, the problem with flicking it around the other way is it freezes my camera, and then I've got to leave StreamYard, leave the browser, and then open up a new Google and go back in. 78 degrees Fahrenheit, worked in the greenhouse, beautiful. I did contemplate doing some work in the garden, but we've got, I've registered my place for green waste and hard waste collection, and it's in 2 weeks. So I decided I'll do that next weekend. I don't want, all this green stuff sitting outside my house for 2 weeks. So 78 Fahrenheit, I wonder what that is in Celsius. So it's 24 here today. It's actually, I'm wearing like 3/4 length little jeans and a shirt, and sandals, but I probably should have worn a little dress. It's actually very warm. Oh, you could shut your eyes. Oh, look, I can point away. I've got the bracket. I just couldn't find unless it's in my basket. But I have a weird recollection of taking it out of my basket the other day to use it for something else. And oh no, it's still here. Ooh, okay. While we're sitting here, I'll get my tripod all set up. Australian Ellis, hi, Mum. I saw your comment before I went live. I was like, Mum, Jesus, just call me your big sister or your crazy auntie or your cool auntie. I didn't have children, so being called Mum sort of freaks me out a little bit. Even when people refer to me as Biscuit's mum or Sonny's mum, even that freaks me out a little bit because it's not a word I'm familiar with, other than when I used to say hi, Mum, to my mum. Okay, 24 Celsius, 75. So a little bit cooler. But considering you guys are heading into summer and we're meant to be heading into winter, I think Tassie's doing all right today. Oh, but what I wanted to say about the meditation dude, the panic guy. So I'm going to go for a beautiful walk and I've got to charge my heads. Oh, no, I've got my new earbuds. I'll use them. Um, I'm going to go for a walk and listen to the whole thing from start to finish because I was pottering around and getting ready to go and vote and do a few other things. But I did stop and take a few notes a lot while I was listening to him. But when he was little, he clearly had anxiety, but what he called it was panic. And he was giving lots of advice. But what I loved about it was he kept saying, just be. Oh, there's a few little fishies jumping up in the water. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see them because, again, you get this major panoramic view. Like that yellow yacht that's motoring in at the moment, that's pretty close for me, but it probably looks like it's quite a way away for you guys. It's probably only 250 metres from me. Um, but he kept saying, just be. And with my little hashtag, be like biscuit, it was like, oh, he's talking to me. So I mentioned it to my sister because she hadn't listened to it yet. And I said, make sure you listen to him because he's very big on be like biscuit. All right, so we're going to go and meet Fiona. Well, I know Fiona. I've only got to know her this year. But we're going to go and get some of her donuts. I'm just going to screw the tripod legs on so we can set it up on her little table. And I'm going to get a coffee and donuts. And we can sit there and have a bit of a chin wag. But yeah, so Dunalley got really badly smashed to bits by this firestorm, and a lot of houses literally got hit by this ball of fire and just burnt to the ground, like just boom. Connolly's Marsh, we just drove through Connolly's Marsh. A friend of mine, her family shack there. Same thing happened there. Their shack, this fireball just landed on it and it was so hot that it melted glass. There was hardly anything left over from the house at all. Like cars and things that were in garages melted. It was so hot. But weirdly, a couple of doors along where her cousin lives, their house didn't get hit at all. Like it didn't discriminate. It just took some houses out and others it didn't. So when we drive through Dunalley, I don't know how many of the houses you'll see, but you'll see a mix of brand new builds and old houses in between each other. And the Dunalley pub, which is up on the hill, when I pull out in a second, it'll be straight ahead, that survived, but a lot of other buildings didn't. So, yeah. Let's go Groovers. Oh, bummer, we're missing. Well, we might see it. The bridge has to go up to let boats through to where some of them are moored, and all the traffic has to stop. So the bridge is fully opened at the moment, and this yacht will, if I can be a bit cheeky and show you this view. I don't want to run this dude over. You'll see it there. It's tootling up the river, and it'll go through, and then that bridge closes and turns into a road again. It's kind of pretty. I'm also right next to the Dunalley fish market, which is a really lovely place to come for fish and chips. They do great food, and you can also buy freshly caught seafood and take it home and cook it yourself if you prefer. Totally going to visit Tassie this year. It looks stunning. It is beautiful. It is really pretty, and I'm going to show a lot of it off. Port Arthur's 38 kilometres from here, so yeah, another 30 minutes pretty much. So yeah, it's probably 45 minutes for me to get to Port Arthur, but it is very pretty. And there's so many different things here. Like, I've got lots of beaches, but we've also got temperate rainforests. We've got lots of waterfalls, mountains, hills, lakes. Even Queenstown, we'll try and go there. That's a random place. It's yeah, it's very different. I'll have a look at chat when I pull over. There's a lot of lowercase that I can't read when I'm driving, but also now wait a minute. I thought her van was back there. I didn't see. I saw a sign. Huh. I've got some dude right behind me. Like, of course, the only bit of traffic in Dunalley today, it's me and another car right on my ass. But yeah, I'll have a look at chat when I pull over, guys, because I can't read the small, like, lowercase when I'm driving, and um, I didn't see her van. I saw her sign, but no van. Coffee and donut, $6. Bargain. Uh, where the fuck's the van? It's usually sitting right here, and there's usually a little table, like a picnic table. Oh, you haven't had chippy fish and chips for well over a year now. Oh, you can't get decent fish and chips in Melbourne anymore? We get amazing fish and chips here. Oh, shit, I can see her van. Sorry, it's further down the road. It's not where it usually is. She's been cheeky and moved her van. I swear to God, it's not normally. Well, I could be wrong. I always pictured it up here, but no, I've just spotted her. She's in the shot. I was going to say if I couldn't find her, we'd go and get fish and chips instead, but she's here, so woohoo. She's got her little table and chair out front. I'm going to ask her if she's moved her spot. All right. So she does hot jam donuts, 5 for $8 or $2 each. And she also does coffee. Let me just get you guys out of the rack, out of the thingamy and into the other thingamy. You live up the road from a really good one, but no way of getting there. And second jab, not yet till next week. Fish and chips in June to celebrate. Absolutely. Absolutely, Ruth. We'll go and get these donuts, have a chat with Fiona, but I promise her I wouldn't put her on the screen. They do huge fish and chip portions here. And I mean, we're an island, so seafood's a huge part of our diet. And the fish and chips, even in like there's a little fish and chip shop in the town where I live, and even the fish and chips from there is amazing. 2 each, please. What was the thing? 5 for $8, and there's 5 of you. So, what, $16? I got to get 2 bags of donuts. I'll be getting one lot of 5, but I'll eat them all for you. Let's go. Here's the van. You know, like I said, I did promise her I wouldn't put her in the shot, but I'll put it down on here. Hello. Well, I'm trying to be discreet with my camera and not show you to the world, Fiona.
It's okay. My daughter has given me an education about this YouTube stuff, and she said, you've got to be in it. It makes you more relatable.
Well, you can be in it if you want.
All right.
What a beautiful day.
Isn't it glorious?
It is absolutely divine. I just went and voted.
Yeah, I'm going to do that on my way home.
Had my democracy sausage.
Yes.
And then I thought, right, to Dunalley for some donuts.
Fantastic.
I thought you were further up the road. Did you? Have you been in this spot the whole time? Okay.
Sorry, my sister Diana.
Hi, Diana. How are you?
She didn't open the window. I'm saying the poor girl doesn't know where she's going.
No, I was like, because I haven't been, but I could see order here on the window. So.
But, you know, I'm famous for missing signs like that and saying, why don't you have a sign up to say where it's open?
That's weird. I always thought you were a bit closer to the servo. For some reason, I thought like where your sign is was more where you were. But
yeah, no, where the old bakery was.
Yeah, it's a great spot.
I think so.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Look at that retro coffee sign.
Isn't that lovely? It's just something a bit.
It's very, I'm very retro-y.
I was going to say
all the
it's very
older
retro
stuff.
too.
Yeah.
Very retro.
We've got people in chat from the UK and Australia, possibly the US. So, yeah.
What would you like us to do?
I'd like you to feed me some of your donuts. And a coffee too, if possible, since...
Now, there is a trick to eating my donuts.
What's up?
They come with eating instructions. Look for the hole that I put the jam in the donut, and you start there.
Ah,
So you end up really sticky.
right, okay.
No charge because you're giving me some free advertising.
Oh, well, you didn't have to do that.
Yes, it is.
We'll have to put that. I'll have to declare that I got a donut for this live.
Oh, right.
But I'd love a coffee too. So
Really? How would you like your coffee? Yeah,
the latte would be lovely, thank you. Guys, honestly, despite this, there's a heap of them in there. So you start where the hole is, otherwise exploding.
Yeah. My donuts.
They've got big hearts, like their maker. Yes. Just give them a panoramic. Well, because it's such a gorgeous day, I'm actually going to go. I started listening to a Buddhist monk giving an interview. My sister signed me up for this thing called Mindful in May. So I've already done like a 10-minute meditation this morning. And I actually feel amazing. And normally when I meditate, I just fall asleep. Or my brain just doesn't stop. But it was really lovely. And then I started listening to his lecture. So I'm going to go for a walk to the end of the beach and back and then have a swim. And then and then I'm heading into town to see a mate of mine's band.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Where are they playing?
At Altar, which is part of the Hanging Gardens.
Okay.
That thing that Mona's set up in the middle of the city. Yeah. So that'll be fun. No, I'm just waiting up, and I've got a massive bag of jam donuts. Let me pay for that.
Happy days.
Happy.
Next time. It's not.
Okay.
How's that?
That's
Everything
enough.
great. So if you
Do you wanna-
hate your donuts, I won't ever see you.
I'm not going to hate them. Donuts are the best thing on the planet. Do you want to come and have a chat out here? Or,
Yep.
because I'd love to interview you. I'll take one of Fiona's things and I'll set it up so I can get some questions happening too. Just going to see where I can see the screen because I want to see if anyone has any questions. And the sun, I know it's really hard because I have to wear reading glasses because I'm blind as a bat. Yeah, she might be better there because it's wherever I can see the screen. It's all a bit high tech.
Once it's fully signed up, you get a free bag of jam.
Oh my God. I got a loyalty card too, guys. Look. I think it's actually easy for me to sit there, to be honest. Yeah.
I'm trying to give you some shelter. Would you like some?
No, because I can read the questions here. They're saying that this is how your donut should taste, not that Krispy Kreme shit.
Oh, it's better than that.
And I've got a loyalty card, guys. I've already got a thingamy. It's not a stamp, it's a squiggle.
Yes.
Squiggle.
Bit of motivation.
Ruth from England says, when are you coming to the UK with your donuts?
Not anytime soon, I'm afraid.
So look, guys, this is the donut. It's warm. It's filled with jam, and I've been told to start here where the jam starts. So do you want to maybe just give a bit of history about how long you've been doing this? And
Well, I opened up this business, unfortunately, on the 1st of January 2020. Not an ideal year to start up a new business, but it's something that's been in the works for the last 30 years since I moved here to Tasmania.
oh my God. Sorry, I'm interrupting.
Okay.
This is donut porn, by the way, people. So you chose the year of the COVID to kick off a new business.
Yeah, nothing like a challenge. But no, I'm ex-Melbourne. I grew up on hot jam donuts. I love them.
Mm.
And when I moved to Tassie, they didn't have the first idea what a hot jam donut was.
No.
So it became my ambition to bring a hot jam donut van to Tassie, which I did, and started trading 1st of January last year.
How long had you been making jam donuts before you started your business?
Really only when I was getting trained by the people I bought the van from.
So at the end of 2019.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yum. You make the jam?
No, it's not cost effective for me to make the jam. But the donuts are made from the ground up with flour and sugar and salt and yeast in the van.
Yep.
So they don't know what a factory looks like. So they're hand mixed, they're hand cut, they're cooked in the van, they're sold from the van.
I did have a look on your Facebook page and I loved the donut photo that I actually used as the thumbnail for this on YouTube.
Oh, my daughter-in-law took that photo.
It's gorgeous. I love that they're not all the same shape and size and just look mass-produced.
Well, they're not factory donuts.
No.
They're homemade. And
Oh my
sometimes
God.
they look a bit eccentric and sometimes they don't.
Guys, I started at the hole and look at the mess I'm making. Oh, Shanna's arrived. She's in Arizona. And she says she loves donuts. Australian Ella says there's a lot of history in these donuts.
Okay. I'd be interested to find that out.
Well, the Vic Market inspiration. Was it a Tasmanian jam producer?
No,
No.
unfortunately.
It's very nice jam.
Thank you. It's going to get better.
Mm.
My favourite jam for these is currently on its way to Tasmania.
And what is that?
It's a jam I can only source in Melbourne.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
but it's a better jam than that one. That one's adequate.
It's really nice because I can pick up this. I love salt, so I'm getting the salt in the donut, which I like. Do you have to make the dough and let it?
Yeah, I do.
What's the word?
The dough needs to proof,
Mm.
rest twice.
Proof. Yeah.
So I mix the dough. In fact, I've got a batch of dough I've just mixed. It's currently sitting on the bench resting, and it will puff up. It'll go from something like this to something like this.
How long does it take?
Anything up to an hour. But if I'm in a hurry, I can hurry things along a bit. And then I roll the dough out. I cut out the donuts. I put them on floured trays and set them aside to rest until they're all puffy and good to cook. So normally I start mixing dough at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
To allow myself plenty of time in case I have any mess ups. And I'm open at 10. I'm cooking at 10:15. And then I'm cooking all day.
Yeah.
So if the donut you just ate was cooked about half an hour ago.
So how many donuts on a good day do you sell?
A couple hundred.
That's a lot of donuts.
People are getting addicted to them.
Well, I can see why. I mean, I'd go into a second one immediately, but I'll have a bit of self-control so I can see any chat that we've got. They all think they look gorgeous. You're getting a lot of positive feedback here.
Thank you, guys.
They did ask me to buy them 2 each, but that would be ridiculous because I'd have to eat them all on their behalf as well.
Yeah.
In fact, Ruth was just saying, because I came through Connolly's Marsh and we stopped down at the fish market to watch a boat going up the river, she was saying that she hasn't had fish and chips. She's been in lockdown in London since March last year. Hasn't eaten fish and chips. She said when she gets the second vaccination, she's going to go and get fish and chips to celebrate.
Yep.
But that's a good meal combo, isn't it? Fish and chips and then donuts for dessert.
Yep. Oh, there's a few eateries around here, and I often get their customers coming for dessert.
Nice.
Or to pick up a couple of bags of donuts to take home for supper. So.
Yeah, they are so yummy. I like that jam's really light. I think a lot of jams are very dense and they're overbearing, whereas these two seem to.
Sweet too.
Yeah, I like that they're not super sweet, but the jam. But I like that they you've got a savoury sweet combo balance happening. It's lovely, Fiona. Did you practice making these all last year?
I certainly did. My other job is working at the airport doing aviation security, and my work colleagues were the beneficiaries of my practice. So they all knew about my donuts long before I opened up the van.
So when were you actually able to open it and start selling, like with all the COVID stuff last year?
I only closed for 6 weeks.
Right, so in that self-iso phase that we all went through, that was it?
Yeah, basically, because there was no one around. You could play the full game of cricket on the highway.
Yeah, exactly.
And you not have to dodge a car.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I opened up on the 1st of January. It was a struggle because COVID came along a couple of months later and no one really knew I was here. And I've just persisted.
Yeah.
I've just simply dug my heels in and I will not be beaten by COVID or anything else.
That's the spirit. So you would have been propped up a lot by locals at the start because there were no tourists
very
here.
Dependent on my locals.
And really at that point when we were only able to travel within 30 k's of our homes, so they would have all kept you going throughout. It's pretty awesome. I liked how Tassie all did that and communities rallied together and supported each other.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're actually a success story that's come out of COVID. You're not a... We'll see if we've got some questions. Ruth's just told me to have this. By the way, the coffee's delicious too. Thank you. It's not just great donuts here. The coffee's great too, which there's nothing worse, is there, than a shitty coffee.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're not fans. I'll remember that for next time. Now, Twiggy, who's actually in Tasmania, said she wants 5. They sell them in bags of 5, Twiggy. Come to Dunalley right now. she's over more Valley of Love way, so she's over.
That's okay. Look, she can plan ahead and come down tomorrow.
Yeah, nice little road trip. Because let her know.
Well, I'm open Saturdays and Sundays, all public holidays from 10 till 4. In the near future, I'll be looking also at opening up for a few hours in the afternoon, late afternoon Fridays.
Oh, that'd be great.
Just catch the people coming home
from work. Yep.
Going down to the shack.
Yep. All the people heading down to shacks. We do chat about shacks a lot. Hey, you don't know me. We're at Tassie Donuts. Tas Donuts. having freshly cooked donuts and a cup of coffee with, and this is the lovely Fiona who owns Tas Donuts. You don't know me, he's just arrived and wanted to know what was going on. Essentially, didn't say what the fuck's going on, but Crystal Dawn says she would have no self-control and would eat them all. Have you had any feedback from anyone, the largest number of your donuts eaten in one sitting?
No. But, it was last year. I had a lady come to the van. She wanted to buy 60 donuts because she and her husband wanted to make a donut birthday cake for their little girl. And they did. It was beautiful.
Oh, wow.
They didn't use all 60 donuts, but I've got photos in my phone.
Sounds like a donut crockerbush.
Kind of, yeah. But it was brilliant. Their
cool.
imagination, it was just gorgeous. Yeah, two parents, imagination, and a little girl who wanted a donut birthday cake.
Far out. Most parents would have just bought one donut and put a candle in it.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that, apparently, not with this family. They love their little girl.
I want to be their daughter too. I think everyone would like that. Parents who give you a donut cake and it's like a mountain of donuts. Yeah, so Twiggy, you've got to plan a trip down this way. Hello from the States, says you don't know me, to you, Fiona.
Oh, hello.
So we've got a bit of an international crew watching at the moment. I did think of another question I wanted to ask you. Do you still eat donuts?
I can't, I'm celiac.
Oh, that's right.
I could eat them when I was a kid. I'm not a hypersensitive celiac, and I do on occasion taste a bit of my donuts because I have to make sure the quality is right. If they're not right, I won't sell them.
No.
So basically, it's the same with the coffee and the hot chocolates and soft drinks and what have you. It's not good enough for me. It's not good enough for my customers.
Yeah, and that's the best way to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They deserve the best, so do I.
So when you do those little dough tests, does it muck you up for the rest of the day or?
It can give me an upset belly, maybe trots.
Small price to pay.
Yeah.
I know I'm not going to have any issues with eating them. The problem will be not eating the whole bag in one sitting, because I reckon that might be a bit over the top.
Well, if you like, you can pop them into a freezer bag, suck out the extra air, whack them into the freezer.
Yep.
And you need to buy a microwave so you can defrost them. I'm told that works really, really well. So you guys, help her get a microwave. She hasn't got one. Woman's unusual.
I'm old-fashioned sometimes. Look at Fiona's got the dirt on me. I don't own a microwave. Crystal says, my dad would make me blueberry pancakes and donuts for my birthday breakfast when I was growing up.
Cool.
So
Can I adopt her dad?
Yeah, see, we want new parents. Donuts. Would you ever consider doing like a completely different flavoured jam filling, like a blueberry jam or a blackberry?
I have considered it. I've considered doing custard, chocolate, all sorts of things. The problem is it's a van and I don't have very much room.
No.
So it's very hard to be able to set up extra hoppers and have enough turnover for it to be worth my while to be cramped.
Yeah.
I'd rather do one thing extremely well than half a dozen things in
not
a
so
mediocre
well.
way.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I think once you've perfected something, why throw other things into the
because
mix?
I'm cooking fresh all day anyway. If someone comes to the window and they say they don't want jam and a donut, if they're prepared to wait for a couple of minutes, I'll cook a plain donut for them.
Yeah.
If they want sugar on the outside, they get sugar on the outside. If they want me to put it in cinnamon sugar, I make up my own cinnamon sugar mix, which is heavy on the cinnamon and it's absolutely divine. I'll roll the donut around in that.
Yeah, nice.
So I can cook to order. If you've got a special request, if you want a jam donut with cinnamon sugar on it, that can be done.
So people can wait for 5 or 10 minutes while you're
they only take a couple of minutes to cook.
So you cook the donuts first, and then do you fill them while they're still really warm?
Absolutely.
Yep.
If you let them cool down,
they collapse a bit and...
Well, no, you just can't get the jam into them.
Yeah, right.
Because they're too soft.
Yeah. So there's a lot... Is that the most fast-paced part of making them, is when they've cooked and you've got to get the jam in really quickly? Or
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Look, I just pace myself. I don't see the point in exhausting myself. I'm not as young as I used to be.
That's why we all live in Tassie.
Yeah.
We chill the fuck out here. Probably not appropriate to use the fuck word in an interview, but this isn't a professional
You're not going
thing.
to make me blush.
What I will be able to do, though, is extract a few little bits and send it to you, and you can chuck it up on your Facebook page.
That'd be lovely.
Yeah.
I'll get the girls to teach me how to do that. I'm clueless.
Yeah, well, I'm still learning how to clip, but you watch. We'll make you a little promo thing for your Facebook, and then you can have it when everyone goes to your page. You can have this little video with music and everything, and your smiling face. I know.
That sounds awesome.
It'll probably take us 80 years to do it. No, we'll get it done. Don't worry.
It's okay.
You don't know me feels for you being celiac. You don't know me says no donuts or breads. They would die for sure. Apparently, frozen donuts work in air dry cookers as well. You know, there's air fryers that we've got.
Yeah.
Huh.
Okay.
I don't have one of those either.
Need to get the microwave first.
Oh, show us the goodness. I'm going to have to eat a second one.
Oh, you suffer.
I know. Don't force me to do that, you bastards. Just checking I haven't missed any comments. So, yes, I'll do another one because you don't know me. Didn't see it. All right. They're so yummy. They're absolutely, look how pretty they are, guys. But the dough's really flavoursome, but it's really light and fluffy. And then there's the jam-filled donuts. And the trick is to bite from where the jam went in and you won't make a mess. But I made a mess.
Make a mess anyway.
Yep. I didn't actually end up wearing any, which is
Unusual.
Fiona's sister Diane's just over in the corner laughing her head off at the moment. Feel a depression with you watching. Do you normally watch and scrutinise people eating your donuts this closely?
Not really, no. But I am known to smile if people are walking down the driveway and snapping the donuts before they get back to their car.
Oh, you've got it because they're beautiful. I'm sure they're going to be beautiful cold too. They're so beautiful though when they're warm. I'm trying to get it to zoom in on look at the jam, guys. It's absolutely incredible. So there you go. You don't know me. There's 8 people at the moment. So we've got a little crowd watching. So how exhausted are you though when you get to the end of the day, or are you not because it's fun for you? It's not work.
Well, yeah, it's fun for me. I meet beautiful people all day, every day. I'm doing something I love. Yeah, I'm tired at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But I'm okay. Whereas when I knock off work at the airport, I'm exhausted.
Mm-hmm. A big difference when you're doing something that you get pleasure out of, isn't it? I'm sure there's someone at Hobart Airport who works there who loves it, but it's not for everyone.
I used to love it, but I've been there for nearly 20 years, so I'm a little bit over it now.
Mm-hmm. They get messy. It's not me, I swear. They're filled with so much jam. They reckon, they're saying blackberry would be really yummy.
Blackberry probably would be.
Yeah. But trust me, guys, I don't feel like I'm missing out by not having blackberry jam because this jam's so good. How about you, Di? Do you eat heaps of these?
She's seen that too. Seems to fall in the family.
She wasn't a celiac. She wanted to do this.
Right.
Whereas I've been celiac
Oh,
for 20.
so, well, neither of you are going to get fat then, unlike me. If I keep coming back here for these, we'll get fatter.
Oh, look, one donut's basically the equivalent of a slice of toast.
Is it really?
Yeah. There's not that much to it.
Well, the other night I was watching MasterChef and I got home late. It was 5 minutes before it started. I'm only watching it because I know a couple of people in it.
Oh, okay.
But I tweeted, I said, I'm getting ready to watch some amazing cooking. Meanwhile, I'm cooking up in a storm in the kitchen making Vegemite and toast. It was all I had time to make. So I might as well have just had 2 donuts for dinner. Yeah. Next time I will. Oh, Kimberly down under. Well, that's actually an interesting question, Kimberly, because we don't really have it here yet. She wanted to know if you do Uber Eats.
No.
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 We don't have it, do we? Maybe in Hobart, a few restaurants. I don't think it's rolled out here.
Well, because of where I live, I couldn't get Uber Eats anyway.
No, never can I.
I mean, whenever I house sit for friends at the nearest town, I always try to get, dial up for a pizza or something.
It's a luxury.
They're always booked out, closed, or not doing it for whatever reason.
Right.
So the last time I had a home delivered pizza was when I was living in Melbourne 31 years ago.
Really?
Yep. And sometimes I don't want to cook for myself.
No.
Well, suck it up, princess. I've got to cook for myself.
Even where I am, which is a little bit more built up than when you are, I can't get things delivered.
Yeah.
So we drive into Sorel and pick up takeaway.
Well,
What
I've
have-
told my friends in future they want me to house sit. You make sure the pizza shop's open.
Well, I would be happy one night to pick up, they do gluten free, a pizza from the pizza truck in Dodgers and deliver it to you.
You're trying to bribe me. You're talking of a Saturday or a Sunday night when I might have some bags of donuts left over. We could do a trade.
I hadn't even thought of that, but now you mention it. No, I just thought to break the 30-year bloody
Drought.
the drought of having a pizza delivered. You'd be able to say, my God, I actually had a pizza delivered in 2021. Apparently you need a doughless pizza pie.
Well, actually, a really good pizza base is 1 cup gluten-free SR flour, 1 cup of yogurt.
Do you know what another really good one is? A couple of cups of grated cheese and an egg. Sounds weird. And you mix it together and then you put it on the pizza pan, stick it in the fridge, in the oven or on your pizza stone. And then when that's crispy, you pull it out and then you dress it like a normal pizza.
Thanks. I tried that one.
I learned that doing keto. In fact, I'll point you in the direction of the recipe for it because it's unbelievable. And
That sounds great.
so they've got this crispy, because they've got a crispy cheese base, and then you put whatever you want for your pizza, and you can even put more cheese on top. Because keto is just all about eating a lot of cheese.
Yep.
Mountains of cheese. We might wrap it up in a second. Ruth says, don't let Uber Eats. They charge the restaurants too much and you pay more. Go straight to the restaurant. It all goes in their pocket. I agree with you, Ruth. We don't have it here anyway. Go to the source.
It's a beautiful place.
It is a beautiful place. Do you want to just give a bit of a I was chatting about the bushfires here, but I can't remember the exact number of houses that were destroyed and
Neither can I. Hundreds of houses were lost.
yeah.
There was 1 fatality due to the 2013 fires.
Oh, there was. I didn't think there was one.
That was 1.
Right.
And it was a mainland firefighter that come over from this had a heart attack.
Oh,
It was so tragic. But
Very.
we didn't lose any locals.
no.
We lost a lot of wildlife.
Yep.
A hell of a lot of bush.
Yep.
I'm a fire survivor in that my house was threatened within 1 kilometre on 2 fronts.
Yeah, wow, that's scary. Were you at
But I was
home?
lucky. I was able to get. No, I got locked out. They closed the roads. I was trying to get my daughter out to make sure she was safe, and then I was going to sneak back home and look after my house and protect it and do all the right things.
Yeah.
But she was living in North Hobart at the time, and we got to North Hobart, came across the radio, they closed the highway.
Yeah.
I couldn't go
And
home.
it stayed closed for how long? 8 days. Yeah, I knew it was
8
more
days.
than a
I got
week.
mixed
Yeah.
reports. The house had burnt down. It hadn't burnt down. It was under threat. It wasn't under threat. For 8 long days, some friends of mine in Midway Point took me in and gave me a home, and just looked after me for those 8 days. But
Yeah.
in the end, I went back to work because I didn't know what else to do with myself.
Yeah. Yeah. What about do you have you've got animals, haven't you?
Yep.
Pets and stuff. Did you have any idea how they were?
My daughter, oh my goodness. We dropped my cat off to the cattery, and unfortunately the fires came up to right across the road to the cattery.
Yep.
And my daughter snuck through the police checkpoint to go and save my cat. I saw her drive into a wall of fire. I thought I'd lost my daughter.
Oh my God.
Anyway, she had an escape plan that she neglected to tell me about, but it was extremely traumatic. Extremely traumatic.
Yeah, it would have been horrifying.
Anyway, she got out. She got the cat out. That was terrific. And she helped the lady that owned the cattery to save all the other cats that were in there.
Wow.
And they were distributed to other catteries and shelters and what have you. So everyone's fur baby was saved.
Saved.
So far as the rest of the pets were concerned, just left all my cages open, left all the gates open.
Yeah.
There was no way knowing I wanted to come home and find any of my animals
Trapped.
trapped and burnt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's better to let them have a chance to escape.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you'd be
Absolutely.
tormented if they'd been trapped. That was
Yeah.
horrible.
Well, locals in Dunalley, they took their horses and what have you down to the beach. And they were standing in the water, just watching the town burn.
Yeah, it's terribly scary. I mean, I was explaining how friends of ours in Connolly's Marsh, one of the shacks that my friend's family owns, that was direct hit by the fireball, and then her cousin's house 2 doors along completely missed it. Like,
Yeah.
it just, same with Dunalley, like, you know, even the main drag, there's just old houses, and then there's a block with an old chimney, and then there's a new house and an old house, and
Yeah.
it bounced, didn't it?
Where we are now is where the Dunalley Bakery used to be.
Yeah,
It got burnt to the ground.
it did. It did.
But the house behind survived.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Nuts. Totally nuts. So, yeah.
I mean, but
this
I mean, I
town
miss
has
the
been through
bakery
the years.
being here, but I also love that there's a donut stand here now.
Well, this town
I'm
has
getting
really
salt
been-
at the end. I love it. I love it so much, guys. So just so you know, with these donuts, the taste at the end for me is the jam, like a faint jam flavour, and then this kick of salt. It's incredible. Got 10 people cruised in now.
No.
Got You Don't Know Me's in California, and yeah, finding the stuff about the fires pretty interesting because obviously California gets hit with
Yeah.
horrible fires as well.
Well, Dunalley's proof positive the community can bounce back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, even in those 8 days when the peninsula was cut off and all of the, you know, people that were pitching in to help and rally as a community, I mean, that's why I moved down this way, because I just think, it's got to be one of the most beautiful places in the world, but also the community is a massive factor for me.
Oh, the locals are amazing. They're friendly, they're helpful, they're supportive. You just can't ask for better.
No.
You won't get this in a big city.
Never. See, look, another happy Taswegian convert.
Absolutely.
Although you've been here for a long time. Tassie's interesting. I don't think you have to be here for like 10 years before people call you Tasmanian. If you come to Tassie and you like it and you end up moving here, everyone's just stoked that you get it and that you want to be here.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you're in the reverse, if you move to like Melbourne or Adelaide, you've got to be there for 2 weeks to 10 years. Have you got a customer or something? I should let you go, darling. I'm going to take the rest of these with me and pig out throughout the day. Thank you so much, and thanks for chatting to everyone too.
Oh, no problems.
Good to see you. Don't forget to vote today too.
Yeah, I'll do that on the way home, I promise.
Good girl.
Good girl.
I love your donuts and your coffee. Thanks, Fiona.
How cool was that, guys?
How cool was that? Donuts. And we got to chat to the maker. Oh my God, and they are the best. They are the best. I hope you all learned a little bit about some stuff too, listening to Fiona. And her coffees are amazing. I'll have a look at the chat when I get into my car. Oh my God. And also, I've eaten 2 of them and I don't feel, you know how some donuts you just feel like, bleh, I shouldn't have eaten them. They feel so good in my tummy. They were light, fluffy. The dough is so tasty. The jam is delicious, but it's not sickly. She's right. Her donuts are the shit, man. Trying to do all of this one hand is interesting. Luckily, I'm not parked on the road. Okay. We could go down to the beach again, down to the waterfront. Hey, Cass. You need a dozen. That was so cool. A bit more fun than, you know, going live about drama. Right. So that's Fiona and Taz donuts with her freshly made hot jam donuts, and I swear to God, they are as good as she said. They are definitely made with a lot of love. And I've still got 3 in the bag. Oh my God. And she didn't make me pay for them either. I can't believe it. I'll have to declare that in my... Now that I've got monetisation, I've noticed, which I think it might have been around before I got monetised, you have to declare if your video is sponsored or paid. I think just out of the goodness of my heart, I should declare that I got donuts for free, right? When I was driving before, I saw a road to go down, and I thought, oh, let's go down there. It looks like we might get a nice scenic view. So it's gonna. Oh, she was waving goodbye. That was so lovely. That was so lovely. I'm so glad we did that, guys. I'm going to go down this little side street here because I reckon we'll get another gorgeous view, and then I can have a bit of a chat with everyone. But yeah, oh my God, she wasn't lying. Those donuts are fucking insane. Insane. You see a lot of the buildings too along here. Even there's some old houses, and then there's some new ones. Like a couple of old weatherboards in a row, but the 2 blocks behind them are both building. But let's go and park down here because this is kind of pretty. God, I just saw my old MX-5, or you guys would say a Mazda Miata or Mazda Miata. My old car is in this car park. Sponsored by donuts. Exactly, Cass. Let me see what's happened in chat. Thank you guys too for throwing some questions at Fiona. That was great of you. Back up at Uber Eats. Veruca mopping the floor, but listen, I was going to tell her that, but then I saw her. She was looking at me like she had to go. She had some customers. But yeah, it was very interesting too, her comments about the fires. It was absolutely terrifying. Oh, wait. I wanted to highlight Ruth's comment, and I nearly put you in timeout. Sorry, darling. Crowland, you have to be 3rd generation to be local. Thanks, Fiona. Yeah, she did a good job. You're eating donuts. I'm eating cough lollies. Oh, no, have you got a cold, Kimberly? Oh, look at you all saying thanks to Fiona, you sweethearts. It was way freaking cool. I'll let her know that you all had a fun time. And what I will do, what I promised her, I will try and extract some of this live and put a little bit of music and have her chatting and a few shots of the donuts and all the jam oozing out. I'll do something creative for her to put on her Facebook page. And I'll also put a little short video up on my channel as well. I have family in Southern California as well. Before the world shut down, I'd go visit every other year. Yeah, I miss traveling so much. But there's a lot of beautiful places on this island I can take you, Groovers. I did make bread dough donuts, and yes, I ate them all. A whole loaf. Go, Cass. I hope to go this fall. I haven't been anywhere since December 2019 except to work. I know, what a weird life, what a weird world we live in, right? Although I feel silly saying that because we have been so, so lucky here in Tassie. Well, no, it's not luck. We've been, I'm just going to move my car forward a bit because there's a car coming up the road so they can get past. Should have plenty of room now. Tasmania, we've had such a different experience to so many other parts of the world. Isn't it gorgeous? I thought I like giving you guys some postcard scenes. We've been so spoiled here. We had a small cluster up in the northwest of Tasmania, which could have turned very bad very quickly, but it didn't, fortunately. But where I live, we've never had to wear masks. Fiona works at Hobart Airport, so she does have to wear a mask to work, but that's the only place in Tassie that you'll see people in masks is at the airports because it's compulsory there. But we've never had to wear masks. We do social distance, although I did just give her a hug because I love her and she makes amazing donuts. No, this is a new spot. Today, this is we're in Dunalley, so we're about 25 minutes from where I live. There's very few parts of Tasmania that aren't incredibly beautiful. They probably will all start to look like each other after a while. Speaking of, tomorrow, if anyone's looking for some things to do, I'm going to see if I can drive down this little road because it goes along the water's edge. It might be quite pretty. But tomorrow, guys, in the morning, I'm not planning on having a big night tonight, and especially not a late night. So tomorrow morning, I've scheduled a drive down to the Brim Creek Farmers Market again, which freaked a lot of people out last time because they were like, no one's wearing masks. And we're going to go to the farmers market and get some fresh seasonal vegetables. And then I'm actually going to make poached vegetables tomorrow from the Shitty Kitty Kitchen. So if you feel like two adventures, one will be to go and get all the produce. And then after that, I'll take it all home and then go live. And I'm going to make poached veggies. That's the second car now to come up this road the other way. So I've got a feeling it's maybe no entry. I'm not sure. But what I'm planning on doing is, I'll head home and we'll make Yosham Osholengi's poached vegetables that are poached in a combination of things, including white wine. And then they're going to get served with a caper mayonnaise, a homemade one. Oh, I'm in a very daggy little car. I'm in a Suzuki Swift. Not very flash at all. I've had my last job. I had a corporate job and I had a work car. I had work cars, so I kept this car. This is a little car that I had before I went to live in Vietnam, and I kept it. I loaned it to a couple of friends last year who were needing a car for a while, and got it back. And then I'm no longer working for that company, so I'm just cruising around in my little Swifty at the moment. I might look at a different car. But this car I bought in 2009, and so it's 12 years old, and it's only got 88,000 kilometres on it, which is nothing. And Suzuki Swifts actually hold their value pretty well. Like, this car's still worth about seven and a half grand in Tassie, so I'm not planning on getting rid of it anytime soon because I'd have to pay more money to get a car that's pretty much going to offer me what this one does. But yeah, I'm just a little Swifty. But I've had so many fancy pants cars, like the little Mazda MX-5 I used to have is in this very car park as we speak. It's kind of weird seeing it again. I miss Noddy, but anyway, it looks like whoever's got Noddy loves Noddy. Great day for having the roof down in the convertible too. No, the water's not rough. That's not rough. I mean, there's wind coming in. That's why it's a bit ripply. But no, I wouldn't. The water here is not rough. Obviously, when we go down to the beach where I live, that's a surf beach. So yeah, the water there is definitely rough, but not rough in a throw a boat around kind of way. But we do get rough water here, obviously. You just sold your son's SX4 and you were sad. Yeah, I had a Suzuki Sierra, the little Jeeps, the Jeeps that came out before the Vitaras when I was at uni. And I used to say to people, they run on an oily rag. I've just filled up my car today. It cost $32, and that's enough petrol for me for the week. And I go to town a lot now with work and us not having so many restrictions on gatherings and things like that. So, yeah, I get out and about a fair bit now. And, $32. But also when you get them serviced and stuff like that, the parts are so cheap because even the top-end Suzukis use the same parts as the bottom-end ones. But I do love Mazdas too. My last work car was a Mazda CX-3, and I loved my Mazda MX-5, which is just sitting over there. I'm going to be cheeky and go down and see where this road goes. Hopefully we won't encounter a car coming up the other way. I'm being a bit cheeky. But we are sort of at a restaurant. So there's a lot of fresh fish are caught down this way. Lots of fishing boats and lots of seafood restaurants and cafes. Oh, let's see what this plaque says. This monument was erected by the government of Tasmania in 1942 to commemorate the tercentenary of the discovery of this island in 1642 by Honourable Abel Jans Tasman. Ships, boats commanded by pilot Major Vischer visited this bay on December the 3rd, 1642. Isn't that amazing? Considering Australia wasn't settled until the 1800s, that people actually discovered Tasmania back in 1642. A little bit of history. So we'll drive back a different way. As much as I love all the scenery with Connolly's Marsh and everything, we might go for a different, although if we go the other way, that's sort of the way we're going tomorrow to go to the farmers market. Let's go back through Connolly's Marsh. I want to get home and put on some shorts and go for a walk on the beach and listen to that amazing interview with that Buddhist monk dude, and then maybe jump in the water. It says it's still only 18 degrees. It's meant to get up to 24. I don't know if it will or not. But it is very pretty down here. And then I've got to get frocked up to go to town and put on my dancing boots. We'll go this way. I like esplanades that go along the waterfront. I'll turn the camera around as far as I can, not very far. Oh, you can look at some houses. There's a house back there that had a TARDIS in the garden, one of those red phone booths. But it's a pretty beautiful day for a Tasmanian, well, autumn. It's not unlike a summer's day, really. So it's the end of the road. I was trying to see, I saw there was a caravan down on the waterfront, but I don't know how to get to that. So, yeah, tomorrow morning, bright and early, I've set it for 9 a.m, off to the farmers market to get some fresh produce, and then I'll be doing some poached veggies. Now, they're still going to be really, really crunchy. Like, they're not going to be soggy. No way. Yeah, spiffed up for some dancing. That'll be me. And let's see if this street connects. So that building on the right that we were just near, that's Cannery, which is an incredibly popular new food place down here. Hi to anyone arriving. Hi to anyone. Bye to anyone leaving. Sorry, I haven't read chat the whole time. Greetings to anyone who comes in late and watches the replay. Good to have you here as well. You can get, there's a service station, or what you guys would call it, some of you would call it gas station, just there, and you can buy fresh oysters there. Like even at the gas station, seafood is on the menu. Going past Fiona's van again, and those beautiful jam donuts. Oh my God, they were so good. They were so good. Fiona's got something that she wants to sell that I'm thinking about buying, but I'm going to keep that as an absolute secret for the moment. But something I've wanted to do for a long time might come to fruition this year. We'll see. We'll see. Don't forget to yell at me in caps too, guys. If you want to say something to me, like if you're chatting amongst yourselves, lowercase is fine. You go for it, man. And if I wasn't so keen to go to the beach, I'd stop here and have fish and chips for Ruth, but I'll do it another day. It's literally a local for me. Like, it's just down the road. So we'll come back one day and have lunch there at the Dunalley fish market. It's beautiful. And it's pretty busy by the looks of it. Lol, just buy it. Oh, I probably will. But it's a project, put it that way, and an idea that I've had for a long time. Something I'd really like to do. So I'll keep you posted. It is a van of some description, but that's all I'm saying. It's not another Gidget though. No more combi vans. No, 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 no. No. I loved Gidget, but holy shit. Gidget ended up costing me 3 times what I paid for her. And I didn't sell her for 3 times what I paid for her. I sold her for a quarter of what I paid for her. So I'm quite happy to not have another combi, unless it's a $200,000 one in mint condition. So we're going back along the coastal road. We're heading through Connolly's Marsh shortly, and taking the back way back to my place. But yeah, if you feel like coming for a cruise tomorrow, there'll be an early morning trip to the farmers market, and then I might have to change the live for the veggies and do them later in the day and have them for dinner, because I sometimes go live cooking in the middle of the day, and then I eat this sort of big meal at like 3 o'clock, which isn't bad. I prefer to have a big lunch than a big dinner. But I'm not going to be doing any protein with it. It's purely going to be vegetarian tomorrow. But it's the sort of thing that, I mean, it's a vegetable dish, so, but it gets poached on a very low simmering heat with a white wine sauce, and then all the veggies get pulled out while they're still pretty crunchy, and you can eat it warm or cold, with a caper mayonnaise. It sounds really good. I'm cooking a book. I'm cooking from Yotam Ottolenghi's book, Plenty. Won't be from cover to cover because he does a lot of stuff with eggplant or aubergine, as some of you might know it, and I can't stand aubergine. So I'm going to slow down and let this dude pass me. Pass me. I reckon it's the same guy that was up my clucker before. I mean, he's not speeding. I'm just not going the speed limit. I'm cruising so you can take in all this beautiful scenery. Look at it, guys. Isn't it pretty? And this is like my backyard. It's the next door neighborhood to where I live. It's pretty gorgeous. But yeah, I've got this beautiful, fresh, jammy and salty jammy sort of flavour left in my mouth from Fiona's incredible donuts. They really are amazing, and she is totally entitled to brag and say they are the best hot jam donuts, because I've never had one I liked more than those two. No way, not even close. They're usually full of a really dense, sickly sweet jam that sort of doesn't balance it, you know, it takes away from the fresh dough and the donut, which, to be honest, that's what I'm there for. I love a donut. Like a donut just rolled in cinnamon sugar. Yum. Yum. And her coffees are lovely as well. So I've got a very happy tummy. I've got my democracy sausage from the polling booth and a couple of beautiful warm jam donuts, hot jam donuts, and coffee as well. My tummy is pretty happy right now. I'll be having a very simple salad before I go to town, though. I think either you guys have stopped talking or chat's frozen. You guys have been great. Some of you have hung out the whole time, which is really lovely. Thank you. Thank you for engaging with Fiona and asking her some questions. Thank you for watching me. Well, you didn't actually see me shove them in my face, but thank you for not giving me too much shit about how messy the jam donuts were when I bit into them. I love that they come with instructions. Oh, sweet dreams, Ruth. Hopefully the driving and the scenery will set you off my soothing voice. So, yeah, with the cooking, I might do it a bit later in the afternoon, which means I'm going to lose a few viewers because of the time, but we'll see. I mean, he says you can eat them heated or cold, and I love cold cooked veggies as much as cooked ones, so I could always heat up the white wine poaching sauce and pour that over it for dinner. So I might keep it where I've got it set to do it tomorrow. Twiggy's still listening. Twiggy, you've got to do yourself a favour, kiddo. Go for a little drive to Dunalley and get some of those donuts. Oh, my God, they are so good. We've got the most amazing produce and food here. I don't know why Fiona can't get a jam filling like that in Tassie, but somebody should be making it because I'm sure she'd love to locally make jam instead of one that she gets from Melbourne. But I've got to say, it was bloody awesome. It's the best jam filling of a donut that I've ever had. Definitely put it on your to-do list for sure. Like, you will not regret it. You know, if you're going to do any kind of road trip, like down to Port Arthur or somewhere else on the peninsula, or to go to the Brim Creek markets and then pop down to her van to get a donut on the way home, they're really good. And my favourite bit of them is that they're not sickly sweet. They've got this salty aftertaste, and I love salt. Oh my God, they're so good. So good. To the left, if we turned off down there, we'd go to Primrose Sands. I took you guys there a few weeks ago for a little drive. This girl was selling 6 Le Creuset baking dishes for $15. I was like, are you kidding me? I thought she meant each. No. $15 for the lot. I couldn't believe it. I don't collect a lot of things, but I do collect Le Creuset cookware, and I use it every day. I'll be poaching my vegetables tomorrow, you know. Has anyone ever poached veggies before? Because I haven't. I'm a bit excited. I love Yotta Mottalengi and I love his recipes, so I already know before I've even made it I'm going to love it. But yeah, I thought let's kick off, let's pick a book, and I just grabbed Plenty, which is primarily vegetable dishes. I will cook some protein from time to time, but I am heading into vegetarian territory with my diet these days. Not a lot of meat at all. I rarely eat red meat. If I went to a really nice restaurant that did a great little Wagyu beef or something, I'd probably give it, if it was a small serve, I'd probably give it a crack. But primarily vegetarian with some seafood from time to time is where I'm headed diet-wise. I'm looking forward to it, and they're going to be super crunchy. Like, most of the veggies are not in the poaching liquid for more than 3 or 4 minutes. So I agree, Ruth. And I've gone through years of being a complete carnivore. I mean, I was raised on, the meat and 3 veg kind of diet. My mum did a lot of meat and 3 veg, lamb chops with mashed potato and a couple of different veggies. But I'm just finding that meat, for a very long time, lamb and beef, if I eat it for dinner and wake up the next day, I can still feel it in my tummy, and I don't like it. I don't like that my body's still digesting it 12 hours later. And I find lamb very, very fatty now as well. I've never really liked super fatty stuff anyway, which is why I was saying if a restaurant did like a little tiny eye fillet of Wagyu beef or something, I'd probably have that. But I'm talking tiny, like in a 10-course degustation menu, not as a main course. I do still like beef occasionally, because I don't find it as fatty as lamb. But I've really gone off chicken. Well, I haven't gone off it, but I'm not as big a fan as I used to be. I'm hardly ever eating it now, whereas I probably used to eat chicken 3 times a week. And we've got so much beautiful produce here and gorgeous seasonal veggies, and they've got so many amazing flavours. I don't know, I'm just preferring the vegetarian. I won't be going vegan, and I won't be a pure vegetarian because I do love seafood. But like even on Monday morning, I don't know what time my sister-in-law is coming down, but I'm pretty sure she's coming down for lunch. But I'm going to go live on Monday morning and make a quiche, but it's a vegetarian quiche. It's a tomato and basil quiche. So there'll be a lot of vegetarian cooking happening on my channel in the next few days. I've had people asking for quiches, so they'll be pleased. And it's always easy to throw in a protein in one, like it's easy to chuck in a, bit of chicken or fish or whatever if you want. Like protein's easy to add to dish. So like with the quiche, I'll be like, if you wanted to, you could put some bacon in. But yeah, weirdly, out of all the red meats, beef is the only one. And I really love the flavour of it. I went off, I didn't eat red meat for a couple of years. Like, I think I had a tiny little piece of steak in the degustation menu about 3 years ago, and then it didn't put me off eating red meat. I just that was around the time that I stopped. Hey, Val. We're on our way home, gorgeous. We've been on a bit of an adventure. I went to the polling booth because it's election day here. Cast my vote. We have compulsory voting. Got a democracy sausage, which is basically a sausage and a piece of bread with some tomato sauce, or what you guys would call ketchup, and some mustard. And then we drove down to Dunalley and caught up with my friend Fiona, who's got a donut van, and I got to try her beautiful hot jam-filled donuts and coffee, and did a bit of an interview with Fiona. And then we're now heading home, and I'm going to put on my shorts, go for a walk on the beach, and listen to a really lovely interview that I was listening to this morning with a Buddhist monk about how you change. Oh shit! I wish I could remember the wording that he said. It was brilliant. He talks about what he calls panic, or what we would call anxiety, and it's all about changing anxiety/panic from being a toxin into being medicine, making it actually good for you, and how to accept that it's there, and how to use it in your favour. So one of the things that he said was whenever he had like panic attacks and stuff, he would feel, he'd be sweaty and he'd be feeling terrible, and he'd get scared because he knew how horrible that feeling was. And then he said, I had to become very superficial and fake, but I acted like panic/anxiety was my best friend. He'd be like, hi, Panic, good to see you. He said it's double-edged because it works, but it also means that the panic goes away. And he said, you have to make it your best friend for a little while, and then you're and consider it while I listened. But I want to do a bit of time with him this afternoon and give him the attention, because I was sort of doing other things at the time, and just listen to his lovely words. And as soon as the interview was like 5 minutes in, I jumped onto Booktopia and ordered a couple of his books, and also a new notebook. I love notebooks, and I need a new one. I've filled all of my notebooks except for the one I'm putting all of this Mindful in May stuff in. And I also ordered a fiction book about Bruny Island in Tasmania. It's a story that happens on a little island in Tasmania called Bruny. And so many people have said that they think it's based on my family, because it's about a family, a political family, and my whole family are politicians except for me. Or in fact, there's no politicians in the family at the moment, but the number of people. And so when I caught up with my friend Chris the other day, she said, Tori, I'm reading a book called Bruny at the moment, and I'm pretty sure it's based on your family. I'm like, I've got to read it. My sister's read it, and she's like, yeah, it's kind of points at, it is meant to be fiction, but she said, yeah, it does kind of point to our family. So that's going to be interesting. Yeah, this, if you called In Love with Life, and that's one of the ones that I ordered. And then another one I ordered is something like Living Joyously or something like that. I really liked the interview. God, it's very high tide at the moment. There's quite a few people at the beach. I can't Google him while I'm on my phone, but I'll definitely be chatting about him. So my sister signed me up for this beautiful thing called Mindful in May, and part of it includes a 10-minute meditation every morning. And honestly, guys, I am the worst meditator on the planet, but I feel so good today. Like, it set me up for the day. It was incredible. I've never meditated before and felt ready to take on the world like I did this morning. I don't know what it was in the meditation or why it resonated with me, but yeah, I'm very energized and very excited about committing to doing a 10-minute meditation every morning. And they do, they email you every day with the daily meditation, and there's a little workbook and little things that you get to write down and how you're feeling after each meditation. It's great. I'm already hooked. It's called Mindful in May. And if anyone wanted to do it, people do it the world over. It's an Australian kick that came up with the concept. And the other thing that's incredible about it is a huge chunk of the money that they make from doing these courses goes to putting up wells and making fresh water accessible in Africa, like in quite a few different African countries. So there's a really beautiful altruistic point to doing this as well. If you're my friend on Facebook, get ready. You're going to see all sorts of positive affirmations and all kinds of interesting things popping up on my Facebook for the next month, because I really want to share this. And I already know I'll be doing it next year too. And I'm only one day in. My sister spotted it and she knew it's what we needed, and we're doing it together. It's pretty special. But I hope you all have a beautiful weekend. If you're an Australian and you're in Tasmania, don't forget it's election day. You've got to go vote today. I think the polling booths close at 6 p.m. There are people in the water down here today with just their bathers on, no wetsuits. That's how warm it is. Gotta love autumn in Tasmania. Yeah, Twiggy, I've did you go to the Derwent Entertainment Centre when the Dalai Lama was there? He spoke at the Derwent at the deck, and every person that attended got a little letter from him that had a little bag of seeds to plant, and I didn't want to plant them because I thought it was so precious that I had this little envelope from the Dalai Lama, and I found them the other day, and I'm actually going to plant them and see if they germinate. But yeah, thank you about the Facebook. I haven't seen a live stream of him on Facebook, so I'll check that out when I get home. And I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I'm following him because he popped up in my It wasn't in the people you might know list. It was in the suggested channels list, I think. If you don't vote in Australia, because it's compulsory voting, Val, you get fined, and it's only a fairly small fine. So quite a few people fuckwits and don't realise how lucky they are to be able to vote and have a say in who their government is. But some people don't, and I think it's like $50. But if you fail to vote in several elections in a row, the fines can get pretty big. But it is compulsory voting here. But at the end of the day, what's actually compulsory is to sign up to the polling booth and get your name ticked off that you've rocked up. Because once you're there and you're voting, you can actually put in an informal vote. Like, you know, these fuckwits go, I drew a big penis on my ballot paper and whatever. So they don't like hold a gun to our head to actually see us voting, but you do need to rock up to the polling booth. That's really what is compulsory. And if you can't make it to a polling booth, we've got postal votes and all of that sort of stuff. But yeah, there's a fine, but it's not a big enough fine to put people off. But in my view, the majority of Australians who choose not to vote, not that the majority of Australians choose not to, but out of the people that don't vote, I suspect the majority of them have never lived in a Commonwealth, lived in a communist country or in a country where you don't get a say in who your government are. Because when you do live in a communist country or in a country where you don't get a say in who your government are, you realise how precious that vote is. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it, Val? I mean, we do look on in a bit of horror at American elections, US elections, at how low the percentages are for people that actually vote. But just from following the election, the US election on social media, it's so difficult for so many people to vote. Like, a lot of people don't vote, not because they don't want to, but because being able to do it is so fucking hard, and where the polling booths are and all of that sort of stuff, and then throw COVID in the mix. But it is weird for us that people in countries where you do get to vote choose not to. That's a very strange concept to us. And I honestly feel that unless, you know, like geography or something comes into play which makes it impossible for you to vote, the people that just choose not to, I think in doing so, you also choose to not get to have a say in how you feel about the government because you didn't do anything to stop them getting in. You can't not vote and then bitch about your politicians, you know what I mean? And of course there are exceptions. Sometimes it's just impossible for people to get to booths or whatever it might be, but it does blow my mind when creators on YouTube are like, I'm not voting. It's like, well, if you ever whinge about the politicians in your country on your channel, I might get a bit vocal about that because I don't think you get to have a say in it. Now a few states have just passed new laws that make it even harder. Yeah, many don't feel they vote better, which is ridiculous because, I mean, 1,000 people in one electorate that go, I don't think my vote's going to make any difference, so none of them vote, those 1,000 votes would have made a difference. But it's that kind of stance is very self-centred because they are literally just thinking about themselves and their one single vote. They're not realising that their vote is part of a group of votes that could make a difference. It's such a cop-out, I think, to say my vote doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, There was a party on my ballot today. It was an animal rights party, and I'm very passionate about animal rights, and I did give them my vote. And I'm not giving you we had to vote up to 19 candidates. You have to number from 1 to 19. I'm not saying where I put it because I like that privacy aspect, but I did vote for them, like they were not at the bottom of the list. It's probably very unlikely that that person's going to get in, but the fact that I could acknowledge that I liked that they were doing that, and that's the party that they stand, the party they are with, and what they stand for, it makes me feel good knowing that I gave them a little nod. Can you do postal votes, Ruth? Got this air conditioning, I'm turning it up, I'm turning it down, I'm turning it up, I'm turning it down. I don't want my phone to overheat, but I also don't want to freeze. It's a fine line. Can you not do postal votes, Ruth? But yeah, I don't understand people who live in places where they are allowed to vote choosing not to. And I really think that it's a pretty naive, oh, it's not going to make any difference. But it's not just your vote that will make the difference. It's yours, along with a heap of other votes for that particular candidate, that can make the difference. The problem is that for certain political parties, it works for them to discourage certain groups from having a say. Yeah, and look, I think all elections can be a bit manipulated, especially by the media, but there's so much more. There are so many more elements to the US election and manipulation and targeting I've followed Cambridge Analytica with great fascination in regards to Trump getting in, and how they targeted areas of people that weren't sure who they were going to vote for. They didn't bother targeting people who already knew. They went for the undecideds, and then they would flame their social media with either anti-Hillary or anti-Trump stuff. Most of it was anti-Hillary, hoping to get those people to make a decision, because they were just getting bombarded with all of this negative propaganda. It's pretty scary stuff, and also how easily manipulated people are. But also not surprising, because just look at what we all look at, we witness on YouTube, that you can have somebody, like I was on the beach yesterday, saying you can have somebody saying something that was proven 2 weeks ago to not have happened at all, and they can say it and have a whole chat that are new to this story, this made up story, losing their shit about it and saying how horrible that other person is. And now that person's got a whole new group of people going after them because somebody sat on a panel and told a blatant lie, and not only correct, didn't do anything to stop it, day how easy and educate yourself. Exactly. Do vote for people that I think a platform that resonates with me, that of what I'm aligned with any specific party, even though I'm a political family, the same party. Oh shit. I'll try and see if I can get it to defrost again and come back and say goodbye, but if not, just so very like overheats. It's 21 degrees for God's sake. Wow, wow, wow. You made me sit in the sun for 5 minutes. My God. I can still see the screen, so I'm hoping you guys can hear me still. I can't see chat though at all. This phone is getting a little bit too precious for my liking. Next time I'm going to try it without it being in its case, and if it still does it, I'm going to Google how the fuck to stop it overheating. There might be a setting that I can turn off, or there might be a setting that says, do you want your phone to be a snowflake? And I can say, no. No, I do not. Right, now that I'm in the dark of my carport, it's ridiculous. I've got the air conditioner on full bore coming out of the vents in like up my windscreen. Oh yeah, sometimes with your peers it's just better, and anyone with different political views. Oh, here we go. Yeah, roboting a bit. My snowflake phone was having a little meltdown. It got a bit hot and bothered. It's pathetic. But anyway, I'm home now. Next time I go live, I'm going to take the case off and see if that makes a difference. And if it doesn't, I'm going to see if there's a setting that lets me choose to not have a snowflake phone. Yeah, I've got the screen back and I can read chat again now. It almost goes jet black for me, so I know when it's happening, but it's a bit annoying. But we're home, so I hope everybody has a beautiful weekend. If you feel like coming to the farmers market with me tomorrow, it will be an early live in Australia. And we'll go and get some fresh produce. And then later in the day, I'm going to make Yotam Ottolenghi's poached vegetables with a caper mayonnaise. And I've set a live also for Monday, depending if that live disappears, my sister's coming down for breakfast, not for lunch. But if she's coming for lunch, we'll get up on Monday morning and make a tomato and basil quiche. I grab some frozen veggies. Yeah, I feel like I need to, whenever I go live, stop and get a bag of frozen peas and have it sitting in that. I mean, my other phone overheated once in the entire time that I had it, and it was fair enough too. I was driving around the South Australian desert. It didn't surprise me that it overheated, but this phone is a snowflake. Is my sister as funny as I am? No. Nope. I can see that. She is very funny though, but a different kind of funny. We've all got. Oh, I believe you, Val. I just don't think it's very practical. What do you mean, oh well? Are you hoping to meet my sister? You don't know me. No, she is, but she's my sister. I'm supposed to say no. Ange was always better than me at everything at school except for drama, comedy, music, that sort of stuff. So they're the areas that, luckily for me, I was already naturally inclined to do that kind of stuff, and I was good at it. It was the one thing she wasn't able to be better at than me. But we're both in our 50s, and I reached menopause before her, and she's my big sister, and that to me is the greatest victory of all because she's so fucked off. Oh, your 21-year-old kitty on your chest. Well, my little 9-year-old kitty's upstairs going, hi, where have you been? Do you want to chase me for an hour? Which I probably will do. No, I need to go to the beach. She's going to be like, you've just come home and you're leaving again. I'm going to be like, sorry, dude. Sorry, dude. Sunny sleeps all day anyway. She's a party animal at night. But no, my sister is very funny. She's actually been on a live with me. She did one of my scam baiting lives, the one with Noreen in it. She is funny. She's a different kind. Oh, no, I'm funnier. I can say that because she's not here right now. If she was, she'd punch me in the arm. She's rougher than me. You had your shot yesterday. Your arm stopped hurting. Woohoo! Good work. Well, we're hoping Ruth gets her second shot so she can go out and about and get some fish and chips and celebrate in June. She was, Ruth. She was very funny in it. She loved it. She loved it. And then she continued to watch the saga with Noreen and she was horrified. She's like, I wouldn't do that. I'm like, well, it's not about you, Ange. It's about Noreen. Oh, thank you. You don't know me. Wow. I often end with compliment a stranger today. It'll make their day. And you've just done that. Thank you. So, yes, everyone needs to compliment a stranger. I mean, not that I'm a stranger, but just tell somebody something lovely tonight. Oh, God, Val, I can't even. India is heartbreaking at the moment. It's horrifying. Horrifying. It's just, it's devastating. Finn Bugden and I went live last night and looked at a few sort of stories from the last week, and we ended up talking about the return of George W. Bush with his new book and his paintings. Oh, my God, that was comedy gold. Then we looked at a potential breach of quarantine, ending the travel bubble between Tasmania and Australia and New Zealand. And then we moved on to Oscar's fashions. But I ummed and ahed about whether or not to talk about India. But I'm in tears too. It's horrible. Exactly. Just be nice. The world needs more nice. And also just be calm, everyone, too. The world needs more calm. I'd like to talk about what's happening around the world at the moment, but I haven't had the experience that so many people in other countries have had. The USA, what you guys have been through, I can't relate to it at all. What Ruth is going through, it's what India is going through. Like, Australia has been very fortunate in that it didn't get here straight away. And our politicians, for once, I'm actually happy are conservative governments, both federally and state. And they listened and paid attention to all of the countries like Italy and Spain that were getting absolutely bashed at the time, and then the US and the UK. And they listened and learned and took a very conservative approach. And as a result, Australia has done incredibly well, especially Tasmania. I mean, we're an island. We've got a moat, we've got a natural barricade. It's got to the point where without that personal experience, I can empathise at how horrific it is. But I also feel I'm sitting in a place of absolute privilege just by virtue of the fact that I'm in a country that has done incredibly well. It's a tough one because I'd certainly love to open up my panel and get all of you guys up who've had experiences. In fact, a year ago, I did a live and chatted with a mate of mine in London, Matt, and it was so good to get his story about what was going on for him, because I just have absolutely no direct experience with it at all. We've been not completely untouched by it, but Australia hasn't had 1,000 deaths, the entire country. I agree. You don't know me. I mean, leadership has been critical here. Um, Actually, I don't know how Matt's doing. I better check in on him. We chatted not that long ago. I found a whole heap of photos of us when we used to work at a pizza place together in Adelaide. And then I found all these photos of him at my 21st down here in Tassie. He came down with my boyfriend, Ben, for my 21st. And we were having so many laughs. I was going through all these old photos of us. But he was doing really well the last time we spoke. But I agree, you don't know me. I think, good leadership has been very, very important for how countries have actually. Sorry about my riveting fence. It is a nice fence though, and it is on an angle like that because my house is on a very steep block. My husband's work buddy is sick with it, and that was the final straw for him, so he called and made the appointments. Good move. I can't spin out pizza dough. No, I was in delivery. I wasn't in pizza making, but it's the sexiest thing. My little Italian lover made pizza here and did that, and I was like, you can just be in my kitchen doing that all the time. It is a smashing fence. 7 years old. It's held up. But yeah, Vittorio was spinning the dough on his finger. I'm like, oh my God. And he looks like Michael Hutchence, the lead singer of In Excess. He's got the same sort of curly hair. He used to have his little Calvin's boxes on and nothing else, spinning model spinning pizza dough on his finger in my kitchen. Are you kidding me? Like, I love my food. Food is life. Food is the best. And then to have this smoking hot little dude. Yours is falling down, Ruth. Just as long as your chickens don't escape. I'm praying my daughter and her fiance will decide to get it, but I'm sad to say they've been made to believe it all. Oh no. Ruth has fence and pizza envy. I've still got 3 of those donuts too. I don't feel like any more right now, but I'll be eating some. I might have one for a midnight snack when I get home from dancing to the band. And then in the morning, I might try to heat the others up to have on my way to the farmer's market so I don't buy pastries down there. There's a lot of stuff flying around about the vaccines. I understand why some people are getting a bit cautious about it, but, again, you've just got to go to reputable sources to get your information and not listen to all of the conspiracy theories flying around on social media. It is a very nice, top quality. It is a top quality fence. I'm pissed off though because right up the top, the council came to clear the block behind this fence. On the other side of my fence is an empty block, and they hadn't cleared it over summer, so they were in breach of all the regulations for like fire preparation. And so the council came and did it, and they smashed a couple of palings on the fence, and they're the ones right up near my front door, and it really pisses me off because I've got this beautiful, pristine fence down this bit, and up there, they're smashed. And if you can tell from the fence, it's really difficult to replace palings. Like, I could come and get a couple from down here and swap them over, but it's actually very difficult to do that. So thanks for that. Oh, yum, Val. Pizza good. Which just reminded me, I was told Fiona I'd send her that keto recipe about how to make a pizza base just using cheese and eggs. It's so good. I've made that pizza on my channel, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to get on with doing that too. And what was the other thing I had to do? Shit, guys. Oh, the Dalai Lama. I'm pretty sure I added him as a friend the other day. He popped up in my people you might know list. No, in the recommendations list. Yeah, I could do that. Oh, you could do it if you were here? Bugger. You don't know me. I just don't have those sorts of skills. I've got some friends who do. I might ask one of them if they can. Scotty's always up for a project. I might see if he's keen. Get a quote and send them an invoice. Well, that's the other option, but I've been trying to get them to stop people flying down our street. It's a one-way street in the wrong direction. It's so dangerous, especially on the bend where my place is. And yeah, nothing's happened. So I don't like my chances about the fence. Hey, Nada, I can't believe this has been live for 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's been quite the day. I've been to the polling booth and voted. We've got a state election. Then I got my democracy sausage, which is literally a sausage in bread with tomato sauce and mustard. And then we drove down to Dunalley and I got jam-filled donuts and a coffee from my friend Fiona's food van. And we went and looked at a bit of scenery and I can't believe it. I'm about to sign off. But Nada, I was going to say we should try sometime if you want to do this, because I've done it with friends of mine before when I used to go live on YouTube. I'd also go live on Facebook. And a couple of my friends, we used to cook together. Like we would find a recipe and we would both make it and just chatter away as we make it. Tomorrow I'm going off to the farmer's market to get some produce, and then in the afternoon I'm going to be doing Yotta Motalengi's poached vegetables with a caper mayo. And then Monday I'm going to be making a tomato and basil quiche. Oh, well, I hope you had a lovely time, Nada, travelling around. Yes, you must suggest to the local councillors you need election sausages. Yep, get the hashtag democracy sausage happening in England. See if you can make it happen, Ruth. It's the best. You get you do pay for it, but it's $2.50. And they were delicious. Cool. Let's try and find a time. It'd be fun because there's a few lives on my channel where I cooked with a friend of mine, Nell, and another mate, Glenn, and I think Matt even cooked with me a couple of times. And sometimes, yeah, we'd basically do the same dish, which I thought was quite fun. But other times we'd both just be cooking and chatting about what we were up to. So there's a few different ones on my channel, but I think it'd be fun to do it. We could maybe even do two dishes. Like you could choose a Canadian dish and I could choose an Australian one. And I know both of our countries, a lot of our diets have come from England, but there must be some maple syrup type thing that you would have that would be very typically Canadian, I reckon. I am on the tweeters. Look out for a Traces of Nuts message from me. But yeah, it'd be fun. Let's do it. And with all of my cooking stuff, I always put links to whatever I'm making in the description. So if people feel like cooking along as well, they don't have to cam up, or they don't even have to go live with me. But if they want to cook along, they can always access the recipes at least a day before I go live. So I thought you would be, Nada. I'll find you gorgeous. And on that note, beautiful people. Hey, Nada, just before I sign off, your name is Nada, isn't it? Because I see so many people calling you Nadia, and I'm like, it's Nada, I think. Or is it Naida? I've always just called you Nada because that's how your name is spelled. It's like when my channel was Yum Tours, all the American creators called me Yumters, and it was T-O-R, Yumters. G'day, mate. So I changed it because I got sick of people calling me Yumters. Thanks for hanging out, Ruth, and thank you for the beautiful yellow love hearts for Sunny Girl, who's probably still snoring her head. When I was meditating this morning, at the start of the meditation, it said, "Oh, I do say it properly. Thank you. And everyone else says it wrong. Because I'll be listening to some YouTuber while I do a lot of pottering around and I have YouTube playing, but I'm not in chat. The number of times I've heard people go, "Hi, Nadia," and I'm like, "Oh, that'd be Nada." A tortilla meat pie. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, well, they used to call me Yumters. So then I changed it to Traces of Nuts. And Makeup Mobster used to like Yumters, Yumtors. But I changed my name, and she's like, when she was reading out the comments under NewsTuber's thing about her doing a fart, look at these ridiculous, look at this idiot, Traces of Nuts. And I was thinking, yeah, once upon a time I was a member on your channel as Yumters. You might want to take that back, young lady. You went, yeah. Look, I do too, except Vicky, which is why I use Tori, being a Victoria. So many people will be like, "Hi, I'm Victoria," and they're like, "Nice to meet you, Vicky." And I'm like, "I didn't say I'm Vicky." So that's why I actually use Tori. You don't know me at all. Diddle-a-dun-a. And there's our token Ben Folds musical montage. Not montage, insertion. All right, I've got to go. I'm just talking rubbish now. Have a lovely weekend, whatever you get up to. Laura used to call me Yumters too, Val. I don't know if you remember that. Yumters. I'd be like, it's Tors. Good heavens. Bye, Twiggy. Thanks for hanging out, gorgeous. And yes, put Dunalley Donuts on your list. Your name is Victoria. I'm in Victoria, Brit. Yes, you are. You are in BC. I know. And when I was chatting earlier about Melbourne, which is in the state of Victoria and the Victoria markets, I was like, there's a lot of Victoria chat going on today. You have a good one, Teenator. Bye, beautiful Val. Do they say lanky? They say lanky Tor, though, don't they? That's why when I was saying I'm Yum Tours, I used to say like lanky Tor. But when I first came to YouTube, lanky Tor was lanky Jen. I'm 100% sure of it. Ah, that's right. Yes, you live in Vancouver but visiting Victoria. Gotcha. I've heard it's very pretty. Prettier than me, Victoria. Bye, Ruth. Bye, everybody. Come to the markets with me in the morrow. Come to the markets with me on the morrow, should you feel so inclined. If not, I look forward to traversing the YouTubes at some time and stumbling across all y'all. That went from English to Irish to Pakistani to Texan in one sentence. Don't say I'm not talented. I love you guys. Have a great weekend. See you again soon.